operations, they can fast track their cost optimization, efficiency, and the velocity with which they can serve their end customers. So Wipro Intelligence addresses all the needs of our clients, industry by industry.
That sounds fair. My second question to Saurabh. You had mentioned last quarter that the company will approach hiring based on the demand, and now we are seeing a better demand outlook for H2 across the top ID firms. So, what are the plans for hiring for the second half of the year, particularly in terms of campus recruitment? And also, are there any updates on wage hikes for this year?
So if you look at our numbers, we went for campus hiring. We onboarded about 2,900 freshers in this quarter. This is in spite of a lower attrition from the previous quarter, a better utilization from a people supply chain standpoint. And we will continue to hire based on demand. We will continue to look at campuses. Q3, the number of days of working days are less, but otherwise, depending on demand, and have you seen the first half bookings have been very robust. And as Srini called out, intent is to convert these bookings into revenue. So we will look at need demand base, and we will continue to on our program for campuses as well. So we will, whatever commitments we have made, we'll do. Our overall headcount has gone up for the quarter. So that's a positive. Sorry, wage hikes. The macro environment continues to be uncertain. We haven't taken a call yet. As soon as we take a call, we will let everybody know. But we haven't decided when the wage hikes will, as of now.
Shrishti, would you like to go next?
Hi, I'm Shrishti from Economic Times. So I have a quick question on your deal bookings. So the total
Have to be
contract value this quarter sequentially saw a decrease. So is this an indication of the deal pricing cut that we're seeing across the board in the sector?
Sorry, are you asking whether the reduction in bookings is owing to competitive pricing?
Yes, yes.
No, that's not the case.
So
Our
what would-
bookings are quite robust. They've grown tremendously on a year-on-year basis. This is one of our largest bookings quarters. So nothing was there was no impact of any pricing pressure on that.
And no, the point is that in quarter one, we had a significant bookings with two mega deals. We also have two mega deals this quarter, but it's more on the renewal side. But having said that, I agree with what Aparna said. It's nothing to do with that aspect of pricing.
Right. So the second question I have is with the Europe quarter. So, I mean, across the board, even with Wipro, you're seeing steady growth with the Europe. Sorry.
It's
So
okay.
with the Europe segment as such. So I wanted to see what outlook you have in sort of a growth momentum in that particular.
So I can speak for last quarter. Like I said, one of the things I came back, I used to constantly tell every quarter is that, Europe has been declining. And I said that we have the robust pipeline and we need to convert that pipeline and convert that into revenue. I think it started with quarter two, where we got our execution right and we started showing the growth. As quarter three comes in, the Phoenix deal will start, ramping up as well. And the pipeline in Europe is strong. And if we convert some of those pipelines into bookings, I think we should see a positive momentum going forward as well.
Jyoti, you can next.
Hi, I'm Jyoti from Business Line. So Wipro had always had fewer H-1B visas as compared to its peers. So will this help you wean off the program easily?
So, on H1B, if you look at it over a period of time, it's not now, but over the last few years, we have very focused and purposeful approach on how can we localize. So today, nearly 80% of our US employee base are locals. And we believe that with the change in the H1B program, from a business impact will be very limited. We have enough and more avenues to manage the change.
So how will H2 look for you? Will it be better than H1, taking into account the furloughs and the wage hikes?
This is on what context, in terms of
Yeah. The H2 visas.
H2 is
Charles.
H2 results.
H2 results.
Yeah.
Okay.
Based on visa and wage hikes.
Okay. So based on
Visa
so
implications.
yeah, okay. The H1B has no impact on us because we are not dependent on H1B visas like Saurabh talked about. As far as we are concerned, it's not there's no direct correlation with the wages aspect in terms of H2. Like I said, quarter three we had a positive growth, and as far as quarter four is concerned, we we see the momentum based on what we saw in quarter three. So I would leave it there.
Good. Can I ask?
Yes, please.
Yeah. I'm Narayankar from United News of India. So I have three questions. I believe that is very much salty questions, the way I have put it. The net profit fell 3% despite revenue growth and higher EBITDA. Does this signal operational inefficiency or deeper cost issues? And my second question is large deals, grew 90.5% year on year, but overall bookings are just $4.7 billion dollars. Is Wipro overly dependent on a few big deals, and what if they don't convert? And my last question, margins improved only slightly to 16.2%. Can Wipro sustain profitability amid rising competition and client cost pressures, or is this a plateau?
Thanks, Narayan. I like salt and sour too, so it's okay.
Good.
Okay. So coming to maybe I'll ask Aparna to answer your question number one and three. I will just take a shot at two in terms of the large deals. First and foremost, I'm happy that we booked $9.5 billion. I'm also happy that we had four mega deals. Having said that, this quarter those two mega deals are significant renewals. So what that means is that you're going to sustain the client relationship, and that's also an opportunity for you to naturally organically grow into those clients. Second, if you look at this quarter, the number of large deals were 13. Outside of that, it's all onesies and twosies as well. So I just wanted to give you that math as well. It's not that we're totally dependent only on large deals. It's about account mining. It's about onesies and twosies. It's all about delivery-driven growth, and of course, large deals. That's an icing on the cake. I'm not complaining. Profitable.
Yeah. So you had a question on the total profits. If you look at our net income, there is a growth of 1.2% on a year-on-year basis. On a quarter-on-quarter basis, there are certain moving parts. Obviously, in terms of our other income and our tax, in tax, we had a much lower ETR last quarter, which is now being normalized. So it is not a reflection of operations. Other income, you will note that there is also a large dividend payout that we made. Our investable surplus was down. Our accounting yields have also come down, which impact other income in line with the interest rate environment. But outside of that, if you had to just go back into operations, if you look at our year-on-year performance, we have expanded our operating margins for IT services by 40 basis points year-on-year. In this quarter, we have had to take uh, an one-off unusual item where we had to provide for a bad and doubtful debt for one of the insolvencies of our clients, which has impacted and taken it down to 16.7, not a reflection of our operations. If you look at our data sheet, you will note that our utilization has actually improved. I can tell you that we have made good progress in terms of fixed price productivity. We have improved our performance operationally. There was also a plus that we got in terms of the rupee depreciation, and therefore we've been able to hold it at a narrow band despite making a lot of investments for future growth. So we're quite pleased with our margin performance. Our endeavor would be to keep it in a narrow band even as we continue to invest for growth.
We'll just come back to you, sir. I have the third question.
Yeah, so the third question on operating margins I've answered.
We'll just take one question from online. This is from Entrepreneur. And Srini, this one's for you. It's a small break from the questions on numbers. You have completed a little over a year as a leader of Wipro. How do you define your leadership style at a time when AI is changing job roles while keeping Wipro values intact? And what is your broad strategy to swim through the various macro challenges like H-1B visa and discretionary spend, etc.?
Thank you for the questions which are not numbered, so that I'd appreciate that.
So we recently last week this quarter we had last quarter we had a Spirit of Pro run. In fact, this was one of the biggest events where we have our employees do a run as part of Spirit of Pro run from Sydney to San Francisco.
In fact, we had
Good evening, friends. Let's begin our conversation. The floor is open. Okay, Uma.
उमा शंकर सिंह, इंडिपेंडेंट जर्नलिस्ट। राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप की तरफ से जो बयान आया है उस पर एक विदेश मंत्रालय की तरफ से प्रतिक्रिया आई है, वो हम सब ने देखा है, लेकिन हम ये जानना चाहते हैं कि क्या रूस से तेल खरीद रोकने को लेकर किसी तरह का आश्वासन भारत की तरफ से या प्रधानमंत्री मोदी की तरफ से दिया गया है? क्या दोनों के बीच कोई टेलीफोन पे बातचीत हुई है या ये दावा जो है ट्रंप की तरफ से वो बिना आधार का है?
सिद्धांत।